What's up, everybody? I'm glad to be here. This is my first TCAP video, and I don't know if I'll have many more or any more. Um, I really just wanted to share a personal story about the time I ran into Jeff Stacy in the wild. So, uh, this is crazy. Um, Full disclosure, I don't have pictures, so I can't really like back up what I'm saying. I did take a picture of him at the time, but I lost the photo. I think it was on like my wife's camera, and she goes through her pictures and like deletes stuff, pretty often. So, at the time that this happened was 2019, and I wasn't super involved in the community. Not that I am now, but now I like to watch streams, especially with like Reborn and Blue Boy stuff. So back in 2019, though, I didn't even really know that people were like, I didn't know about Laurenography. I was just watching TCAP. I was into TCAP when it first came out, and I rediscovered it on the internet. And so I just kind of watched videos online, like all the reruns. But I didn't know this whole community really existed. Like I knew people were big weirdos like me and were kind of into the show still, but I just didn't think this picture was going to be something like I could put out there and anyone would really give a shit about. But clearly that's not the case. But I guess my point is, I don't have any like proof that a lot of people would love to see. But like, if you don't believe me, that's fine. This would be a really weird thing to make up, and then like just for what internet karma? I don't get it. I just want to share it with the community because I've gained so much, entertainment and even perspective from just watching, Lorne and just like analyzing his life and learning a lot of life lessons about just being like a good person. And this is all just a study of, human behavior and psychology, but like the darker side. So, with that, let's just jump right into it. So this story dates back to, I believe, 2019, and um, I was on a family trip in Ohio. So I don't live in Ohio, um, but some of my family is from there. And we did a big family reunion sort of deal in a place called Lakeside, Ohio. And Lakeside is a really cool, kind of old school colonial town on Lake Erie. And it's very family oriented. People bring their kids there. My family that took us there or kind of organized the whole thing, they've been going there for like decades. Even like one of the oldest ones in the family, who's like in their 70s, had been going since they were like a child. So there's several generations have been going there, and this is my first time. Um, so it's this little gated community. There's probably a few hundred people in there, and they have like a community center. It's right on the lake, so you can do all these events. But they have this, um, they do a performance every night, I believe, in the summer. Like they have old rock and roll dudes, come through, or they'll have, uh, like performances. And this particular instance, there was a dog performer. And it was like this guy who trained dogs, and the dogs were doing all kinds of tricks. Like I put it, like it was something you would see at like the Renaissance Festival or like a circus. And it was the morning like rehearsal, but they they left it open as more of a meet and greet. So it was really catered towards kids. And there's like children in my family that we were with and who really wanted to go see it. So we all, took the kids to go see this little, you know, mini performance meet and greet, and then they're going to do the performance later. But anyway, we're in this big auditorium, and there's probably only like maybe 30, 40 people total in the crowd. So it's a big auditorium, but it's not very packed. So you can really see everyone. The lights are on in the crowd. You can be very aware of what's going on. So, uh, the performance goes on, like they do this show, a mini show, and then they invite all the kids on stage to like take a picture with the dog. So everyone runs up on stage, like all the kids, and there's this line of like 20 kids on the stage. And it's really cute, right? Like we're waiting for, the kids in my family to get there to get a picture. And I look out into the crowd, just literally all the way to my left. So I turn 90 degrees, I'm looking, and there's this guy, and he is a big, bearded, scruffy guy. Uh, and I say, who is that guy? Like, I recognize that guy. And I'm thousands of miles aware, from where I'm from. Right? I live on the other side of the US from Ohio. And I keep looking at it. I can't look away. Like it's like no, nothing's ringing. I'm like going through my list of friends where I grew up. Who's this guy? I know this guy, right? And it hits me. It's Jeff Stacy, the Mickey Mouse Predator. And uh, I'll tell you this: it was like a light bulb blew up in my brain, like an explosion of realization. And I couldn't believe it. I was looking at this guy that I had seen dozens of times, watching his interview with Chris. Like he's, I dare I say, one of my favorite Predators. That's a weird thing to say, but um, yeah, and he's just sitting there with his arms. You know how when you're in like a movie theater and all the seats are on either side, and you kind of put your arms out, one on each like headrest or whatever. That's obviously he's doing that, both arms across each seat adjacent to him, right and left. And he's got his leg crossed over, maybe it was his left ankle on his right knee. Really like the comfortable but the big guy pose, when you're taking up a lot of space. And he's looking at all the kids on the stage, and he's got this big stupid grin. And it was like so many fucking things in my head were going off. Like I'm seeing Jeff Stacy in the wild. Two, I'm trying to, you know, I'm trying to reason with myself. Wait a second, where? Oh, I'm in Ohio. Maybe 2 hours from Lebanon or wherever. Now I'm drawing a blank on where, Bowling Green, Kentucky. Yeah, Cincinnati's very close to Kentucky, as we know. Lakeside, probably more than like, it's probably like 3, 4 hours because Cincinnati's south, Ohio, and then Lakeside's like North Ohio. So I'm like, holy shit, that's definitely him. I'm in his general territory, and I'm thinking, this is a popular vacation spot. It's not like Jeff Stacy just like walked into a bar. It's like we're at this destination. So like maybe he's on vacation with family, but he's looking at fucking children. And my family have the children in it are on stage, and it's like, holy shit, the amount of emotions going through my mind were just, it was just incredible. And part of me was like stunned, can't believe it. Part of me wanted to like stand up and say, this guy was on, To Catch a Predator, and he's in here. Or like part of me wanted to slap him because he's probably laying eyes on, some of my family. So it was just like the moment was just palpable. Um, so he had his glasses on. He had that beard that when you see him in all his more recent pictures, he had that beard. He was just like that puffy, look of Jeff Stacy. He looked exactly like his pictures like on his wedding, and or that picture where he's like doing kung fu, like he's a kung fu instructor or whatever, tai chi. I don't remember which one, but um, He's just sitting there, like not a care in the world. Like this guy wasn't on the show 15 years ago and got humiliated nationally. He's just in the middle of the crowd, blending in. But me being like a psycho TCAP person, like I've consumed enough content. Like I know that was Jeff Stacy. Um, of course, there was like a chance it wasn't. Like, but I'm putting that at like 0.05. Like I'm 99.95% sure that was Jeff Stacy. And at the time I really wanted, I was like, I gotta get a picture of this guy. Holy shit. I'm gonna, I just couldn't believe it. And I don't know anyone in my life that's into TCAP. So like, who am I gonna send it to, right? So I was kind of going back and forth on that, but then I went ahead and hey, I think my phone was dead. So it's like, I asked my wife if I could use her phone. It was all grainy, but I got a picture of him, and of course I don't have that picture anymore. That was like several years ago, but um, so anyway, we're there, and I'm just staring at him. It was like probably like 10 more minutes where uh, the show's still going on, the kids are meeting him, just staring at him. He's just sitting there, kind of watching the kids, which is so fucked. But um, I don't think he has any restrictions. I'm pretty sure that he isn't on any sort of probation at this point. I should have looked this up, but I believe he had like 10 years to register, like being registered. So he's done with that. He was, I think, done at the time. Like he was probably recently off. So he probably has every right to be there, assuming he's not on probation. And so the show ends, right? And I start fucking following him. I'm like, I gotta watch. I gotta see what he does. I gotta pick up some clues here. So I got closer to him, and it was him. It was absolutely him. So this is kind of where it gets a little bit controversial. So we go out in the main lobby. I'm kind of trying to I'm trying to kind of be with my family at the same time, but then also follow Jeff fucking Stacy. Uh, so I'm following him around in the lobby, and he's waddling around, and I'm just like, holy shit, it's Jeff. And then these two older folks come up to him, and I thought they were his parents. It was two people that walked up to Jeff, and they were clearly together, an older couple, and I kind of I thought it was his parents, but apparently his dad passed away at some point, well before that. So it couldn't have been his dad, maybe mom, maybe it was someone that he, was he was like someone she was with, dating. But again, like this is a family thing. You don't just go with like a few people. All this Ohio place, like Lakeside, you usually go with like multiple families. It's like a big deal. So, it could have been it could have been his wife's family, could have been his like uncle, aunt, like it could have been a variety of people that Jeff was with. I didn't see like his wife. I would have recognized her. But these people looked similar to him. The guy was very much kind of the same stature, had the big stupid beard, uh, just like Jeff, but gray. So maybe it was an uncle. I'm not totally sure, but um, so I'm kind of following him around and following these people around, and then these two kids come up, and they're clearly with, I think it was a boy and a girl, and I'm pretty sure that, looking back, it's hard to remember, but I think that they were with Jeff and, Jeff and company. So it like could have been Jeff's, niece and nephew, maybe friends, but they were pretty young. They were like maybe 3 and 5. Like they were pretty young kids. But again, they could have been on a big family trip with, people. So I start following him around, and he kind of gets suspicious. Like he could see me like staring at him. I think our eyes met once or twice, and I could see a sort of panic come over him. Like he definitely got a little more anxious, and they got out of there pretty quick, and I still followed them. I went out. I went outside, uh, and they're standing kind of, 20, 30 yard, like 20, 30 feet away from the auditorium now, and I come out and he looks at me like I came out and I'm looking right at, he looks at me and they go. So I'm like, this has got to be him. He sees somebody following him, looking at him. He knows, like, this guy probably recognizes me from TCAP, right? Like, if you were kind of running into a random stranger, like if you see someone in the airport that looks like somebody and you're kind of looking at them and they see you, like they don't run, they don't bail, like they're kind of like, who's this person looking at me? But they still continue to do what they are there to do. But Jeff Jeff saw me. He got a couple times and I was falling around. He bailed. So um, anyway, that's pretty much it. I didn't get to talk to him. I didn't even know what to say. I was toying around with going up to him and like, how do you strike up that conversation? I'd be like, hey, what do you think of those dogs? Like, so I was like, I could have gone at it that way, but also I was really pissed off that he was there, so I wasn't gonna go be friendly with him. Like, I was thinking about going up and being like, hey, I know who you are, and what the fuck are you doing here? Like, get out of here. It's not about doing that, but I'm not super confrontational. Like, I wouldn't just walk up to somebody I didn't know and like really say that if he's legally has a right to be there, which it sounds like he's got no probation at this point, like, then I'm not going to stir the pot. Like, it's not the end of the world that he was there. But the fan part of me wanted to go up and like drop a Stacy line, like, Lebanon? Where are you from? I'm from Lebanon. Uh, or what, like, did you like the show? Yeah, I did. What about you? No, not really. Why not? I just didn't like it. What's wrong with that? Just drop something. But that's tough to kind of fit a line in. Like, if you aren't even talking to them, how do you start a conversation and then drop a TCAP reference on them? So I wish I would have been able to, maybe drop a line on him. If I could have taken a picture just for the community, um, just the fact that he was there like pisses me off. Like, I should have dropped that picture and put it out there so at least people know. Um, so that's my story of seeing Jeff Stacy in the wild back in 2019, and now he's no longer with us, and I'm very curious to see what happened, because obviously there's some really weird shit going on with his wife that's still alive, and how she like burned down their place and their neighbor's place, and I think she was like in possession of all these pills, and then Jeff died from and I think it was morphine overdose, maybe it was some sort of medication overdose, and like there's obviously a lot of speculation that maybe she had a hand in it. So can't say I'm all that sympathetic if she did murder him. Like, he's definitely a piece of shit. But yeah, I'm curious what Joey's TCAP comes up with, and I hope this was entertaining. I know I just kind of ramble, and my ums and ahs are not, and are not all that entertaining to listen to, but yeah, if you have any more questions, like, please drop them in the comment section. If you have any, further topics of discussion, or if anyone else has seen anybody, that'd be really cool to bring up. It's always cool to hear about people who have seen these douchebags in the wild. So, thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you around.